the mouth of babes, oh God, you speak, Lord. And I ask you, hallelujah.
God he really is awesome. I'm not old or anything, and I haven't seen a lot of things, but He's brought me through things that really hard, tough times, and He really is awesome. Like Corey sung, He knows my name. He knows my name, though everybody else doesn't know my name. He knows me out of everybody. And before we get started, I want to say welcome to the VLB service and happy birthday, Sarah. You're VLB, so I can introduce you to the VLBs. So happy 18th birthday. And I'm going to be reading in, I don't have the camp applications right now. Sorry, don't have them. But anyways, I'm going to be in Genesis 22. Sorry. I've never been in a relationship. I'm 16 years old and I've never been in a relationship. But some of you older people or higher people above me have been in a relationship, and Sarah is in a relationship. But when you're in a relationship and you're like just starting, or you just gotten married, you want to do everything you can for that one person. You want to do everything to please that one person. You want to do everything to make that person happy. So why do you want to do that? Why do you want to make that person happy out of everybody else that you've had? If you haven't had any, why would you want to make that one person happy? Why do you do that? Because you love that person, and because you love that person out of everybody else. That's the person you love. That's the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And you don't question it. You don't question your what you do. Sorry. You don't question you don't question it. You just want to do everything you can for that person. That's right. And Abraham loved God so much that he went to sacrifice his son, that he loved so much because God had asked him to do it. He might, while he was going up there, he was probably sad about it. He might have questioned in his mind, why would God ask of my son? But he still went ahead and did it because he loved God. And Genesis 1, Genesis chapter 22, sorry. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of. And Abraham arose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took two of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave to the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. God asked him to get up and go sacrifice his son, and he went. He probably on his way, while he was walking up, while he was going up, he on his way up, he probably in his mind he would question, why would God want his only son? Why would God ask for the thing or the person that he loved most? But Abraham still went. No doubt he probably was sad and heartbroken that he had to do this, but yet he kept going on, and each step closer to the place, he probably dreaded getting closer. He probably was like, I wish if we could still be back there instead of this close to being closer to the place where I'm fixing to sacrifice my son. Because what verse is it? In verse 4, then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. he probably didn't want to be there, see that place there on the third. He probably wanted to be back where he was in the first day, still at the bottom. And he was probably, I guess if like you were a parent, you would be heartbroken if you saw that. If you were fixing to sacrifice your son. But he probably tried to get in closer. And when he had finally gotten there, Isaac had asked, where was the I think I didn't read that, sorry. And, hold on. 6. And verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and both knives, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold the fire and the wood, but there is no love for the burnt offering. And Isaac had asked where was the sacrifice, probably also confused to why they didn't have a sheep for the sacrifice. And in Genesis 8, and Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together, and they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called to him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called his name of the Jehovah Jireh, and as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. An angel of the Lord called to Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, by myself have I sworn, said the Lord, for because thou hast not done this thing, and not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy son. Hold on, I passed. I'm sorry, I went fast. Isaac was probably when his father was fixing to sacrifice him, had tied him up and had laid him on the altar. Isaac was probably terrified that why would his father sacrifice him? The dad that he had looked up to, like every boy would look up to his father, he was probably like, why would my father do this to me? He probably had a lot of thoughts running through his mind. And Abraham was probably upset and heartbroken to why God would want him to do this, to sacrifice his only son. But yet, Abraham still, he did it, and Isaac didn't fight against him. And before he killed his son, God came on the scene and stopped him. Because God had seen that though Isaac was his only son, Abraham did what God had asked him. He didn't let the feelings that his feelings get in between him and God. He didn't let it stop him from him and stop because he loved God. He didn't let that get in between him and God. And he loved his son because that's his son. He didn't let that get in between him and God. He didn't let his fleshly feelings to get in the way of him and God. He listened to God. And the angel of God stopped Abraham from slaying his son and provided a ram for him so he could sacrifice it. And sometimes God requires something of us. You know, sometimes we don't want to give something up that we really want, that we're really attached to. And we don't want to give it up because we love it. Like, I guess this is an okay example. Like, when I like somebody at a time, I didn't want to give up that person because I really like that person. And sometimes we sometimes like that person, but we want to continue on with God. But God's saying you can't continue on without me because you have that thing that's stopping you from going on for me. And when I was praying to God, I was like, God, why can't I feel like there's something in between me and you. I feel like I can't keep going on. I was like, what's stopping me? Because like I wanted to get further on with God, but I couldn't because there was something in it. And every time I would pray, I would see that person pop up in my while I was praying in my mind, and I would be like, God, is it that person? And I feel like God would say, that's it. But I would push it aside, like saying, that's not it. There's something else. And I would try to push it away and say, that's not it, and try to keep on praying and be like, that's not it, that would never be it, because that's not it, that's not distracting me from God, because I'm still praying in it, and still, but I felt like, but in the end, it was that, and it was either, and when I had questioned God about it, he had finally, I knew every single time that it was, I knew it was that
That's right.
that thing.
Right.
But I couldn't.
That's right.
But me, my flesh wouldn't
That's
accept
right.
that.
That's
I wouldn't accept it. And in the end, it was at the convention last year. I felt like God was like, it's either me or it's that person. And I didn't want to choose. Like I did want to choose God, but I didn't also want to let go of that. And that's sometimes how we are. We don't want to let go of that one thing, but we want to continue on with God. But we can't do that. Like I've heard a lot of people say, you can't eat from the devil's table or from God's table. It's not going to work. You can't eat two things at one time. Well, some people can, but I can't. You can't eat two things at one time. You can't drink and eat at the same time. Well, you understand. You can't do two things at one time most of the time. And so I ended up having to give up that thing because I didn't want to lose my walk with God. I wanted to continue on with Him. And like Abraham, I don't think Abraham wanted to give up. He didn't want to give up his son. I don't think so. But he did it. He did it. He put his feelings aside, his flesh aside, and he did it. And God stepped up. He was like, because you did this, because though it was your son. You were still gonna do it, and God was like, he was like a taste of faith to see if he would still believe in God or like trusting God, and though he was asking for his son, and you know sometimes we don't want to give it up. Our flesh doesn't want to give it up. I don't know if Abraham. I don't know, but I think Abraham was sad. I've said that so many times.
Yes.
He must have been.
Amen.
He may have wondered a few times why God was asking of this thing, and we may be the same. We may wonder why God, why this, but if we're like Abraham, if we're like him, we grab what we need. And we grab what we need. Without asking any questions, in our mind we'll be asking questions like, why this? But if we're like Abraham, we grab what we need. We grab our donkey and our servants and the offering, the sticks and everything that he needed, and climb up that hill or mountain.
Praise God. Amen.
Bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord.
Amen. Mountain. Oh, I messed this up. Okay, here we are. 2, 3. And I'm sorry. And though you're not knowing how to do it, still, I think. And keep walking. Though we may be upset, sad, or however, we just take our things and prepare everything. God always has a plan. We may not know it, but God always has a plan.
That's right.
And you may think that you are alone, but God is right next to you. While you make that climb, he was next to Abraham, watching him. And while he climbed up, while he was dreading to get closer to that place, though Abraham might have felt alone while walking up there, he might have felt sad, God was still right next to him. God was seeing him, seeing that he was still going on, though he felt sad. And
Amen. Bless her, Lord.
on that trail with Abraham.
Help her, Lord.
It was a trial for Abraham to see if God was his everything. If he would put, if he would, it was for God to see if Abraham would put his fleshly feelings aside and listen to God, to see if God was his everything, his all in all. And sometimes God sends us trials to see if if he's our all in all, if he's our everything.
That's right.
Okay, here it is. Just like in a relationship, when the two people in the relationship, they have to know that there's nobody else besides those two people. That one person is that other person's everything, and that other person's is that everything's person. Like Mr. Sonny has to know that Miss Donna's is everything. That Miss Donna's everything is Mr. Sonny, beside God, and Miss Sonny's everything is Mr. Sonny's is everything. You know what I mean?
Yes, we do know what you mean. Yes, we do.
Miss Donna's everything is Mr. Sonny. Mr. Sonny's everything is Miss Donna. They have to know that, and that the two are they're each other's everything, and that there's nobody else besides them. Just like God sent Jesus into this. There's no one else there's nobody else that they want. Just like God sent Jesus into this world to die for our sins, God was probably sad about it because that was his son, and he loved him, but because he loved us also, and I think he said that he was tired of seeing sacrifices being done. And that he sent his son to make a way for us to be saved. And because he loves us and wanted to make a way for us to be saved, he sent Jesus to die for us. Though it may have hurt him, he still sent him.
Amen.
But we have to, but like I said, but God has to know that we're that he's our everything. But we have to know that, but God has to know that he is our everything and that he's our all in all. And if he is our everything and he isn't just to see if Abraham would sacrifice his son. Sometimes he's like that. I gave y'all the example about me. He had to know that there was nothing in between. That there was nothing in between me. That one thing that was in between me. Me and him, I had to give it up, or I wasn't going to be able to continue my walk with God, and I probably still wouldn't. If I would have chose that other thing, I probably wouldn't still be with God today.
That's right. And
we can't let small little things like that, like my mom said, that one little thing to miss you from going to heaven. It's like, what if we were to die today, right now, tomorrow? And it was that one thing, and tonight you were talking to God about that one little thing that was in between you, that fleshly thing, and then you end up dying and wake up in hell. Not saying that there are, but like, if you do end up, you'd be wanting to come back. And though Abraham, it was his son, he loved him like parents love their children, and they hate to see him hurt. Abraham had to kill his son or sacrifice him because God had asked him, and he was hurt, probably heartbroken, and he didn't want to do it, but he did it. But he was going to do it.
Right.
And like I said, he probably dreaded every walk, every foot, every minute of it, but he still did. But he still was going to do it.
Right.
And if God sees that, He'll know that. And God sees that we're like that. We give it everything up and put everything aside, and we show Him that He's our everything. He'll bless us like He blessed Abraham.
That's right.
He'll give him. I don't know what He gave. He gave him. In 17, He said that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemy. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham, because he obeyed my voice. And if we all we need to do is give up. Well, I mean, it seems like a lot at the time, but then when you look back, that wasn't a lot because now you'll have another child in front of you. But and you'll look at this one, it's not as bad as, you know, making sense.
Yes, amen,
Okay.
amen.
And but God has to know that we're His all in all. And if He isn't, and if He is our everything, and if He is our and if He's not our everything, we need to come to the altar and give everything up
Amen.
because it's not worth it. And like Abraham, if he would have said no, I'm not going to give up my son, he would have missed on a huge blessing, and he probably would have lost his son anyways. But
Right here.
okay. The altar is open if you want to come down. I know it's a little short, but I was nervous as I was going really fast. But if you can come, the altar is open, and like I said, that if God isn't your everything, make Him your everything, because like you never know when you'll need Him, and you know, and God should be our everything. But all you need to do is submit yourself to Him, and He's willing. All we have to do is our heart has to be willing. We have to be willing to give up everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes you'll lose family, but you'll get more family in the church.
That's right.
And a lot better family. But the altar is open if you would like to come onto the altar.